Om Shanti. Welcome to today's episode of Masters of Change. Change can be tricky. So that is why the reason has to be very clear in our head that what is the reason to change? Why are we changing? So that even if we move away from the path, it will be very easy for us to come back again on it. And the other things which can be important while the process of change is on is to have patience and to have faith. And to help us do that, today we have with us Sister Dipti from South Africa. Welcome, sister.
Thank you.
It's lovely meeting you.
It's always a lovely opportunity to have these kind of conversations because I really believe the world is going through so much change.
Correct.
And people are responding to change in so many different ways. And I love the topic, Masters of Change.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we learn a lot, I'm sure, with your experience. So why don't you start by telling us something about your experience and how it all started for you?
So I was born in South Africa, and I had a good life, came from a good home. Things were good. And I remember one day I was a university student.
Okay.
I was 19 years old at that time.
All right.
And I was listening to my lecture and thinking, is life just this? And it really took me to think that I'm sure there's more to this. I was comfortable, but the reality is, was I operating from my fuller capacity? And that wasn't happening.
Okay.
And so there was a search.
You thought something is missing?
Yeah. It's amazing you can have everything.
Yeah.
And yet you know that there's a void.
Correct.
Something needs to wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started the search for it?
It actually found me.
Oh, okay.
Because I was at university and there was a lunchtime talk. And it was during the exam time and one avoids studying. So you find every distraction not to study.
Correct.
And there was a talk during that lunchtime on meditation. And I decided to go for it. And I had such a beautiful experience. There was a richness in the experience. And I thought, I'm sure this is what I was looking for.
It is so nice to be having a conversation on meditation at some university, which we lack here in India sometimes, which is so important. Like nowadays, people should start it from schools and even colleges.
Yeah, it was so unfortunate that these opportunities are there, but at times people don't realize.
Don't give that much importance.
Yeah, I think for me, that talk was just for me because there were so few in that room.
Correct.
But it came at the right time, and it served me with the right experience. That after that, I decided maybe this is the area in which I need to give some time. And so I went to the Brahma Kumaris Center.
So they were the ones who were organizing it, Brahma Kumaris?
Yeah, there was one brother from the center, and he talked about the art of meditation.
Okay.
So I then went to the center to discover more, and I thought, well, I'm just going to relax and calm my mind. But I realized that in order to anchor your mind to a space of stillness, you need depth. I can't just say, let me relax and I'll be calm and fine. Sometimes to create that calmness and that stability, you need depth. And so when I went to learn about the meditation, I learned a lot about myself. I learned about how to take power. I learned about how to respond to life with dignity and ease. And all that knowledge created a depth, because otherwise in life you can be quite reactive to situations. And I found more and more the knowledge grew. My mind became more steady and still. And when that began to happen, my responses to the world was a lot more with dignity.
All right, that's a very nice experience to have. And I'm sure it must have happened over a period of time. It wasn't like you attended the session and it happened with you. So when you were going through these changes, when you were actually experiencing such clarity, was it difficult for you to maintain that change you were going through?
I think when one goes through change, there's a variety of feelings that one gets exposed to.
Correct.
And sometimes you feel, yes, this is what I was looking for. And then the next moment you think, well, what I know is much more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because change is sometimes a bit difficult. So you can see the potential of what this can do for you. But then there's your old way of thinking that says, now why do you want to do all of this? Just chill. Just relax.
Yeah.
Just do what you know.
Be in the comfort zone.
It's the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And yet there was a part of me that spoke inwardly quite loudly and said, no, my dear, this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to respond. Life is offering you something here. And sometimes it's about timing. And many of us, we may get these opportunities, but because of our comfort zones, we revert back to our own thinking and we revert back to the patterns of behavior that we've been used to. So it took a bit of determination on my side, and I said, I'm going to do this. And one of the beautiful things about it was that I was encouraged to do early morning meditation. And I thought, And yet I found that when I experimented with it, how it prepared me for my day in such a beautiful way. I feel the thoughts you create first thing in the morning begins to echo in your life. And if you've set the frequency in your morning correctly, then that will echo throughout your day.
Correct.
So I found a method to respond to the day. Instead of in the day trying to catch up and say, I need to be calm, I need to be peaceful, I need to be positive. The day is already in a full frequency at that time, and it's very hard to do that.
Correct.
But in the morning, if one is able to set your pace as such and your vibration, then that echoes for the day.
Very rightly said. So were your friends and family around that time were supportive of the change you were going through? Or did they have questions at why such an early age are you inclined towards this, or did they doubt you on your journey?
Actually, my friends used to look at me and first say, Dipti, something's happening to you. What's happening? And I said to them, I'm experiencing something. And they were very curious. And then I said to them, well, I'm meditating. And because sometimes people are very limited in their understanding of meditation, so the people who were closest to me, especially my friends, they said to me, wait till you're 60, enjoy your life now.
Correct.
But I found that meditation is not a retreat away from life, but it's rather preparation for life. And so it was quite a powerful experience. And I found that you cannot convince people. You just have to live your truth. Patiently and respectfully. Never push it down to your friends or family, because sometimes change is real to you, but it doesn't mean that that same change is understood by those around you. And so one has to be respectful of that space. Sometimes we experience something deep, and then we think everyone else should now respond to my new way of being.
Because we are so overwhelmed by what we are experiencing, we tend to forget the feelings of others.
Yeah, and so one needs to be a little patient and respectful to where they are at.
Correct.
And give that opportunity. And I found one of the things that was very helpful for me, I was dearly mentored by Daddy Janki. And I found that she always said to me, just live your truth peacefully and respectfully. And I found that to be quite a powerful mentoring energy to support me along this journey.
Very right. Why don't we delve deeper as to when time passed, and there must have been certain changes that you must have done in yourself in order to continue with your spiritual growth. Were those easy to come, and did you ever feel that you are having a hard time, and how did you deal with the changes, and what did you start to experience, as in the change in thoughts must have happened, and what did you start to experience regarding that?
I found one of the things that was important for me, as I mentioned earlier, is the lifestyle change of the morning meditation.
Right.
And it set a different rhythm. And you know, sometimes people say that I don't have time. This is nice to do, but my mornings are so busy.
Yeah.
And as a parent or as a busy person, my morning times are packed.
Yeah.
But I find that when you manage your time in the morning, time respects your day. It's quite an incredible formula. If you make time for yourself, time will respect you. It's quite and I found that was the first change that was important. I found after meditating, I never had to fight with time. You know, people get so used to saying, I don't have time, or I'm too busy. I found my capacity increased. I gave time to the things that I valued first thing in the morning, and it gave me the opportunity to do many other things.
Right.
So it opened capacity.
Correct.
Also on the level of food, again I found that I grew up in a home that was relatively vegetarian, but just how the sattvic diet supported my mind in a very beautiful way. And I found there was more clarity in my mind whilst eating sattvic food, which was wonderful. The area in which it took a bit of time, because I was at university when I started, and I had a circle of friends. They were very respectful, but this was all too new to them. I grew up in a family that thought I'm a successful young girl, and they measure success at a different level.
Yeah.
So I had to respond to that as well. And it didn't mean that when my spiritual journey began, I compromised my professional life. My professional life, I was an educator, and then later on I became a lecturer, and I grew in it. But I grew with a basis that was more sound. I wasn't driven by competition, and I wasn't driven by needing certain levels of success in that external. But the irony of it all is, because I was calm and relaxed, I achieved those things automatically.
Correct.
You know,
because you have such a clarity, you have such a clear mind that it saves a lot of your time not thinking about negative things and waste thoughts. So another perspective, how did it help you keep the negative thoughts and waste thoughts away? And what do you think that when people think negatively, how does it impact them?
So I coming from Africa, one of the things that people often talk about the Africa context is the fear and the crime and the violence. And that can imprison one in many forms of fearful thinking, negative thinking, and that fear can take over in many ways. And I found that if you become a victim of those thoughts, they live you. you can't even give room for them. And it's not that you're living in an unrealistic way of thinking. I think I'm relatively streetwise. Growing up there, I'm streetwise. But at the same time, together with that, I have chosen that certain thoughts, especially when I hear it over the media, especially it's in people's conversations. Just this morning, I received a WhatsApp saying that so-and-so that I knew got hijacked first thing this morning. And immediately there can be a rush of thoughts that can start saying, well, it's getting worse. But what was needed of me at that time was to give peace to that soul.
Yeah.
Because that young man was traumatized, and I'm not sure now, he had head injury. So I am not sure what's his level of stability, health stability right now. But instead of expending on it, the reality is there, the crime is there, the violence is there, it's a reality.
Correct.
But in this moment, I have to choose whether I'm going to feed the fear, feed this conversation of how bad things are, or I, at this moment, realize from my spiritual obligation to myself and to humanity that this young man needs my peace. Let me connect to the source, and whilst he's fighting for his life, let me surround him with peace.
This awareness comes when you are connected with something higher than your own presence.
And I find that's very, very important. I find that in our own capacity, we operate in a limited space. We are like rivers, so sometimes we run dry. But when I'm connected to the ocean as such, and in my spiritual journey, connecting to that supreme source of pure love and complete peace, I find in my morning meditations or even during the day when I'm out, when I connect to that source in a very deep way, it feeds me.
Correct.
It's like it rejuvenates my journey. And that's what you vibrate, because the reality is you can't give what you don't have.
Correct.
So, it's like your mobile phone. It may have so many applications, but if the battery is flat, you just say, how nice, you can't do anything. So similarly, we want to offer so much to people, but if my battery is flat, I can't do anything.
Very rightly said. And people tend to neglect the power of thoughts. They don't really know how much powerful a thought is. So they think that even if we are creating some negative thoughts, it's not happening. It's not like that thing is going to happen, but it is going into the environment and it is magnifying all that and it coming into reality.
Absolutely. Somebody shared a very beautiful, well, not beautiful, I would say powerful thought, and they said that there's a pollution of fear, and there's a pollution of negativity in the world. And so if something is polluted, it only damages. And so if you are in an environment that's polluted, it's sensible to know how to look after yourself. So if you're in an area that's physically polluted, you wear protective gear to take care. Similarly, on a spiritual level, if you are in an environment that is polluted with violence, polluted with negativity, I can't walk in there disarmed. I can't walk in there unprotected. And that requires awareness.
Correct.
And it requires you to think at a certain level.
Right.
And so sometimes what happens is people hope that the thinking will happen by itself. They think, okay, I hope to be positive, but it's a choice.
You have to make a conscious effort.
You have to consciously make the effort, and it requires practice over a period of time. Sometimes people are just hopeful that, okay, now I'm meditating, so now my life is going to bang, bang, it's going to change and everything is going to be so peaceful. But you have to create. And once you create, you make it a reality.
Right. Managing your expectations is also a big thing.
Yeah, because sometimes people get disappointed.
Yeah.
They say, oh, I'm meditating, but nothing is happening.
Yeah.
But it's a conscious practice.
Correct.
It's like a driver of a car. In the beginning, the driver has to know, okay, I must change the gear, this is the indicators, I must turn the wheel. You're consciously thinking.
Yeah.
And now maybe you're driving and you're doing it so automatically, you're not even aware. But there was a time when you thought, okay, first gear, okay, there's the brakes. So I think, you're not going to just be that driver by sitting behind the steering wheel.
Yeah.
You have to understand how it works.
Correct.
So the same thing with the meditation.
Right. And since you are an educator yourself, and so can you tell us more about the applications of meditation, the services that you must have done in the field of education with children maybe, and elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, I think I really found that the meditation and the spiritual journey helped me to heal young minds and hearts. And I don't think I could have done it without the meditation. If I look at the context in which I have operated, many of these children are a product of apartheid in South Africa. They lacked a lot of self-value and self-respect because they were regarded as less. They grew up in an economic and social context that was disadvantaged. And so for a long period of time, the level of self-respect was very, very low. Being brought up by parents who were the product of apartheid, it naturally flowed into these young minds. Yeah. And one of the most beautiful things about Africa and the names, you see. So these kids, they are named according to values. It's incredible. Like Lerato means love, and Nkululeko means freedom, and Mpho means gift.
Nice.
So what I used to do is I use their names, and I would say, Mpho, you're such a gift to this classroom. And he'll say, really? But that's just my name. And I'm saying, no, you're a gift, And then I would say to Nkululeko that, see, everyone is so upset and you've just relaxed everyone. You've brought freedom into the place. And as a result of that, you operate at something else. So I found it was a very, very natural way of introducing them to a higher level of thinking, but by just using their names. And then I would talk to Lerato, and I would say to Lerato, you are the gift of love. And she says, but I don't feel loving. But even though you've used one child as an example, you've changed the atmosphere of the whole classroom with that space. So I find that if you want to respond to the needs of these young minds that have been so challenged and brought up in a belief system that made them believe that they're lesser, when you use something within them to highlight, you bring out the best in them.
Correct.
I think people just need exposure these days. If you're living in an environment where people all think alike, that becomes your reality. So I found as an educator, it was quite an amazing experience. There's one young child. He was really a troubled child. His first name is Tembani, and his second name is Prince. Tembani means trust and prince. So often in the class I used to say, I trust the prince. And he would say to me, but I'm not trustworthy. And I would keep saying, you are a prince and I trust. And it was years later, one day he came to me and said, ma'am, you know what? I'm a prince.
Wow.
It was such a powerful moment. We need to awaken this in people. And if we don't awaken it in a sincere way, then we can't draw out. And I think that is why spirituality for me and meditation was so user-friendly in my profession.
Correct.
And if I never used it, I think my profession would be half the joy that I would have felt.
Correct. And you were so patient as well with them, and you said it took years for him to reignite the self-worth.
Absolutely.
By using such a easy process, just by telling them the meaning of their names every day.
Yeah.
It made a huge difference.
Yeah. I think sometimes we live in a microwave generation. It's like we press the button and we think things should change overnight.
Correct.
And it doesn't happen like that.
Correct.
And so I think when you operate from that level of positivity, you also need to be patient.
Right.
I know my seniors had a lot of patience in my journey, and they still do. And I feel that it's that faith that they've had in me that has allowed me to grow. And I feel that this is the gift humanity needs. We really need to believe in people. Doesn't necessarily mean we believe people, because today there's many things out there, but believe in them beyond the things you can see, and you awaken their inner power.
Very rightly said. If you can share some of the experiences you had when you came to India first, after, or maybe even if you come now, if some powerful experience with some seniors of the organization, if you can remember that, if you can share that with us.
So, when the first time I came to India, firstly I landed at the airport and it was in the middle of the night and I just cried. I cried so much. And everyone asked me, why are you crying? I think that even though I was born in Africa, just the smell and the air awakened some memory in me of this is home.
Oh wow.
Oh, it was such a moment for me. I thought, this is home. So I think that was the first beautiful moment of feeling that I've come home. And Where did you land? In Mumbai.
Bombay.
Yeah. And it was quite a powerful moment. But I think also then coming to Pandav Bhavan, the headquarters here of the Brahma Kumaris, and walking into the purity and the silence and the stillness and the sacredness of the place, and it was like my heart just felt safe. I knew that I was home. And I remember walking into the courtyard of Pandav Bhavan, and on the side was Brother Nive. This was many years ago.
Yeah.
In the 80s, Brother Nive was sitting there. And he welcomed me with so much of love, and his graciousness and royalty served me with so much abundance.
Yeah.
And I really felt so moved by it, you know. And then walking towards the Tower of Peace, and I went to meet Daddy Janki, who had really encouraged my journey. And again, I thought, what an honor that at this time in my life I'm mentored by such incredible beings.
Correct.
You know?
And coming here after so many years, do you still feel the same way, or has the feeling changed over the years?
I was just saying to somebody this morning that no matter how many times I come here, it's like a child that has come home.
So beautiful.
It's always like somebody said to me, but now you've grown up. And I said, not in your parents' home.
Yeah.
You can be a grown-up out in the world, but when you come home, you're a child.
Very rightly said. And the time only permits us to have this much discussion. Otherwise, I would have loved to continue with this. But thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us today. It was a pleasure.
It was lovely. Thank you so much.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.